So this is Rant, and I'm Nia. The 35th President of the United States was assassinated on November 22nd, 1963. So, let's talk about JFK for a little bit, shall we? I have a few books that I read most of this one. I just got this one not that long ago, so I'm still looking into this one. And then there's this one that I got at the same time as the other one that I am still looking at. So, here's the thing, okay? If you believe in the single bullet theory, then you pretty much agree with the Warren Commission report, whatever. If you believe that there's a conspiracy, then you agree with the U.S. House Select Committee on Assassins that was formed in 1976. And they investigated, JFK and Martin Luther King Jr.'s assassinations. And I'm quite sure Robert's, Kennedy's. But, so I learned in school that Lee Harvey Oswald did it. And then later in the years, though, the word pretty much, instead of being, the lone assassin, was the alleged lone assassin. See, I'm doing this on the 22nd of August because, well, 3 more months will be an anniversary of his death. So, I have my views and everything, but the single bullet theory is just there's just no way that bullet can be almost in pristine condition if they say it went through Kennedy and went through Governor Connolly, and then they found it like on the stretcher, on Connolly's stretcher. There's just no way. Special bullet. It has been a special bullet. But as I have read that Oswald bought a very cheap gun. So if that came from his gun, then they had some great bullets for a cheap gun. Even during that time that he ordered it through the mail for like $20. And I know in the early 60s, $20 was a lot, but it was still then considered cheap. So cheap gun with really great bullets, that just doesn't make sense. I don't believe it. So yeah, there's definitely a conspiracy. It's just the House Select Committee, they believe there's a conspiracy, but the organized crime's not involved. Russia's not involved. Castro and his people aren't involved. The government agencies like FBI, CIA, and the other ones, they're not involved. That's not part of it. So I'm like, well, okay. So just individuals, little conspiracies that they believe in. It's just too many witnesses that day, kind of reporting conflicting things, and is, of course, if you're old enough to actually, I don't think they show the video in elementary, but definitely high school, college, you can watch it on YouTube. Probably the best evidence of any crime ever was the Zapruder, whatever his name is, he filmed the assassination, and they went frame by frame. They dissected that film, and of course the sign is in the way of probably where they need the important answers, but whatever. I do believe Oswald was involved, but there's no way he didn't shoot the fatal shot. He didn't shoot the headshot. He shot the bot. I think he shot the back. You know, according to Oliver Stone's JFK, 6 shots were fired. Governor Connolly swears up and down until his death, 3 shots were fired. So, but there's just, there were more shots than just 3. They were just really fast, I think, and maybe not 6, but we know 3 hit people. I know there were some misses. A bullet did hit a curb, and days later they took the curb, removed the curb, that part of the bullet where it hit, and then fixed it. What they did with that part that they removed that had the bullet hole or bullet hit, whatever, I don't know. But that was one miss. But there had to be a second. There's just too many. There's gotta be more than one person involved. Of course, there was more than one person involved. It's just makes no sense. Of course, you know, if Kennedy was supposed to have been taken out on a trip to Miami, that's when he was really supposed to have been assassinated, not in Dallas. Things didn't work out in Miami, so then they kind of scrambled and figured out where is he going to be next and where can this be done. And then Dallas was chosen. So yeah, it's just so many things that just, oh my God. I've seen a lot of documentaries and even videos on YouTube from certain, like, other documentary places that mainly air their stuff on, true crime type shows, stations, channels. But, yeah, I mean, as I said, Oswald, he's involved, but he took the fall for the other people that were involved. He was the fall guy, he was right, he was the patsy. I watched, the first 24 hours after it happened. It was like live footage that I saw. And I don't remember when it took in effect. Me being a criminal justice major, I don't remember this. But during that live footage, the cops, the detectives would bring out Oswald from a holding room and bring him into a media room. Of course, they had to go down a hallway where cameras were, so, you know, while the cameras were filming his walk to the media room, he asked for a lawyer. Of course, now if you lawyer up, cops and detectives can't talk to you. Back in '63, that wasn't so, obviously. Or else, maybe things would be different. I don't know. But he said he was a patsy. He asked for a lawyer. Obviously, he didn't get one or didn't have the opportunity to get one. So, there's this a lot of things just went kind of wacky that trip to Dallas. Even his secretary, with the last name of Kennedy, of Lincoln, even had just a bad feeling. Like, she even said, don't even go on this trip to Dallas. You don't need to go. Just stay here. She had a bad feeling. Something bad was going to happen. It did. To be, whoever the second person was, you know, people were saying there was a guy running with a gun at the grassy knoll, from the grassy knoll, where the dude was filming the motorcade. And everybody but one person has been interviewed. And there's this lady with this, what is it, a hat or a coat? They have pictures of her, but I think that's the one that they never did find. But the thing is though, those people that took photos and video of the motorcade and of what happened, the pictures and the video were confiscated, and they got their pictures and stuff back, but if anything looks suspicious or kind of like evidence that they may need, that the, I guess, Secret Service needed, they kept them. So some of these people out there that were there and had took pictures and everything, and at the exact moment when the shooting was happening, I'm quite sure those pictures they didn't get back. Back in the 70s, there's this people that did, I don't know why they didn't do ballistics testing back in '63, but in the 70s they did, and they kind of proved that there were more than a one shooter because there was 2 different types of bullets used. And excuse me, I had to get my cat off the ladder. Get. Hanging like a monkey. Sorry. You okay? So they took ballistic tests, and as I said, 2 different guns were used. And in this book, they pinpointed a Secret Service agent, there's pictures and video of the only gun you really see, the car behind Kennedy's car, I believe, should have been the Secret Service car, and there was this guy holding a rifle. And this is what they think, this is what they say. And if this happened, and this is just like 1 in a million shot that this ever happened, yeah, kind of don't believe it, but anything is possible, but most likely not. But they say the fatal shot came from behind, from the Secret Service car. The guy that had a rifle, he kind of, he was kind of standing, but I think he was repositioning himself, and somehow his safety went off on the gun, and then he kind of tripped, and then the gun went off, and then, Kennedy's head exploded. So, yeah, lucky shot. I don't believe that one. But as I said, anything is possible. But then again, that Secret Service agent, after that day, he just mysteriously disappeared. Then years later, when the book was published in hardback, he tried to sue Comfort because he was named as the shooter. So I was like, wait a minute, you want to slander me, right? So he tried and lost to sue the writers when it was in hardback. But then he did it again when it was put in paperback, and he won. And when Clinton was president, he ordered the Secret Service to release some papers from, papers from the assassination of theirs, little investigation of the Secret Service investigation. So, of course, they weren't happy about that. But about 2 weeks before they were supposed to release the papers, reports, those papers, reports, someone just accidentally shredded them. Go figure. See, Secret Service, they were involved. You can see it on the video. They're in a motorcade. Secret Service was pulled back. They didn't want Secret Service right there by Kennedy. Get back. Things could have been different if the agents were right there. And of course, they even said, even then, I know times have changed. Now, of course, the top will be on. The Secret Service agents will be there by the car. And even during the route, even then they said, just like today, if there's any open windows, they're not going to let that happen. There were windows open all over. People looking down, watching the parade, watching the motorcade. They had to have been involved. LBJ was involved. There's this photo you don't see. Very rarely do you see it, but it is online. I saw it. As soon as he was sworn in, with Jackie next to his side, he gave a little wink, a grin, definitely a wink, to a guy across from him on his right side. It's like, hey, yeah, buddy, we did it, type attitude. So LBJ had something to do with it. For show. See, the thing is, the government killed Kennedy. It may not have been the mafia or the KGB or Castro or whatever, but yeah, it was conspiracy and the government did it. The government did kill the president. They just didn't like what he was doing. Before my time, I don't know all his political views, Kennedy's views, so I can't really comment too much. Just what I've read and seen. I've seen the movie 13 Days, which is about the Bay of Pigs and him almost going to war, besides Vietnam that was going on or just starting. But he avoided war, though, with Cuba multiple times, and I have to do kudos on him for that. So he was the youngest president elected ever, and he was the first Catholic, so it's just either people just didn't like it because of that, or I don't know what the deal is. Sorry. But I've been to JFK's grave site at Arlington, the Eternal Flame, and of course that's before Jackie died, because it was back in 88, I think, 87, 88, 88. I'm going with 88. No. Yes, 88. So before Jackie, and of course before JFK Jr., but there were two other graves right by John's. And of course it was their son that died just months before he did, and then Patrick, I think. Has Patrick in the name, but I don't know if that was the first name. And then another one. Did they have another kid that they just did not release? I remember seeing two. One on each side of him. Well, I know for a fact that the son that was born before he died, like months before he died, is buried beside him. The other one, I swore I saw another grave by him. But I don't know. Maybe it was a dog. I don't know. Animal that they had. I don't know. Whatever. Dog buried at Arlington. There we go. Let's see. I know I'm missing so much on this, but anyway. So, Oswald. Let's go back to him for a moment, shall we? He, Yeah, he had information that he was most likely going to give up. So my thing is, see, the reason why he was gunned down on live TV was because, well, yeah, he knew stuff. And Jack Ruby made sure that wasn't going to happen. So he was killed to be quiet, to keep things quiet, so nothing would get out. That is what I believe. And of course, Jack Ruby was in on assassination too, I'm quite sure. But his job was primarily probably just to make sure that Oswald kept his mouth shut. Hopefully not to get caught, but he did get caught. But anyway, he was involved, as I said before, but lone assassin? No. I just don't believe it. What are your thoughts? Government did it. Pure and simple as that. As for Robert Kennedy, I think, I was watching the movie Bobby that was written and directed by Emilio Estevez. And they actually, before they tore down the Ambassador Hotel, they actually filmed there for the movie Bobby, which is cool. And they used the furniture and everything because they were just going to, they imploded the building after the movie. So, which is really sad because I wanted to go there. It's probably a parking lot now. Whenever they tear down buildings kind of like that, or significant buildings, they turn into parking lots or decks or whatever. Why parking? But anyway, I don't know what's there. Probably not parking. But, Bobby Kennedy, to me, he was the cutest Kennedy boy. I thought he was hot. Watching that movie and kind of listening to, his views and what Emilio did, he actually used as much as he could, almost, I don't want to say good 95% of the footage that you see of Bobby is really Bobby Kennedy. They use actual footage of him. They used a little stand-ins. They did use a stand-in for him on, the movie shots. But other than that, he used actual footage of Bobby. So, but I think I would have voted for Bobby if he, was the candidate for. I think he was running to be the primary, and I think he was very well on his way to be, the candidate for, I think, his party, Democrat. So I probably would have voted for him because I actually agreed with a lot of stuff that he was saying, and agreed with him. So that was just, at least according to the movie, but a lot of that stuff was actual footage. So anyway, so June 5th, 1968, early morning hours, he was gunned down in the kitchen right after giving his pictorial speech of winning California. I think he was on his way to Chicago next, which he never made that trip. Here's a little conspiracy there. There is a little conspiracy with Robert. It's just not as big because John was the president and Robert was the senator, and they're just two different investigations. Government takes care of one and city takes care of the other. So, Robert Kennedy, his shooting was actually caught on, not film, well, not video, but there was a guy that took pictures during the shooting and actually probably got the shooter, whether it be Sirhan or not, which I'm actually really doubting that he didn't act alone. People ran out, using the word they, killed him, they shot him, they. So more than one is involved in that one. People place Sirhan further away than what the evidence suggests of Bobby's injuries. I think he actually did have like a burn mark from the gun, but yet Sirhan was placed feet away, few further away than, in order to, not, he couldn't make that burn from the gun that he used. So, he may be innocent. There could be an innocent guy, another fall guy in prison for something he didn't even do. So, people are actually learning history wrong. Kids are learning history wrong in school. They're just being misled in all aspects. Whether it be assassinations or just history in general, which I'm not going to go there right now. So there's this young guy. He, college-age guy. He was there taking photos, and he was facing. He was up. There's actually a photo of him, Robert's, lying on the ground, and then up there, kind of in the doorway, was this guy taking pictures. So he was there kind of facing where the shooter would be. His photos got confiscated. He was chased. He noticed that some guys in suits were watching him, so he kind of walked out of the hotel, and he was being followed. He got chased down, and his photos were taken. And he said, they told him, you get your pictures back in 20 years. So in 88, he asked for his pictures back. He got them back, but he didn't get all of it back. He didn't get all the negatives back either. So there was something in those photos that suggested maybe, I don't know, something they didn't want to be let out. Something was being hidden. But that's what the government does. Lies and hides things from us. Woo-hoo. So, that's not too much on Bobby, but, he probably would have, I don't know, he was gunned down before he even was the primary and before he was president, before he, just early in the stages of just running for president. So anyway, poor Bobby. But the Kennedys, they I hope that before Jackie died and before Junior and of course Caroline, the only surviving person from John and Jackie, I hope that they actually found out the truth, exactly what happened. Oh, there's one thing. The autopsy of JFK, done by a rookie, and it was so unprofessionally done. And the brain, everybody wants to know where JFK's brain is. Well, I've heard reports it was given to Bobby. Bobby gave it to a friend, and that friend has it now. I don't know. Then I heard that secretly, only done by the Kennedy family, the brain was buried after JFK was buried at Arlington. So it's with JFK's body now, as far as I understand, at least according to that. So, but as I understand, all they have to do is just look at the brain and they'll know exactly what happened. For some reason, the brain holds all the answers. But why are they hiding it? I mean, don't they want to know the truth? What happened? The autopsy pictures too. Amateurish, not professionally done, rookie-ish, as I said before. So yeah, even the guy that did the autopsy at the Naval Hospital, when he retired, he took some pictures with him. And I don't know what it is, but if you knew Kennedy, John Fitzgerald Kennedy, JFK. If you knew him, you just end up missing or turned up dead. Because that guy turned up dead. Like just a few days later after his retirement. Just like a woman that allegedly had an affair with JFK. She was gunned down, and it was you know, I gotta go. Sorry, I had to make an emergency stop. Yeah, but that woman, you know, she claims to have had an affair with the president, and she even kept a journal, and that's what some people were looking for, because she knew someone was following her and that people were in her house because things were moved and searched through. But she kept it hidden. I think her family, after she died, her family gave the diary to, I think, the CIA, and when they got it back, they never did get that diary back, I don't think, and if they did, it was missing pages. So yeah, there's things that are definitely being hidden about the JFK assassination, and even the Robert Kennedy assassination. So yeah, we're being so lied to, and it's not that I want the truth. I actually want to know what happened. You know, who is responsible for this? It's the President of the United States, but we'll never know. So heck, there's even a little conspiracy about Lincoln's assassination. So you know what? If the government's involved, they are just full of lies. I don't trust them. I don't trust the government. I only trust myself and no one else. I'll see you tomorrow. Thanks for watching. Rant!